All right. Before we get into tonight's episode, just want to take a moment to tank tonight's sponsor, and that again is DB Journey. In case you don't know, DB Journey is a Scandinavian brand that makes backpacks and bags to help people on the move stay ready for anything. From the streets to the peaks, DB Journey's gear is travel tested by some of the world's best athletes, adventurers, and creators. Over the past decade, DB Journey has designed and developed, released and refined the best bags in the market. With DB's patented hookup system, you're able to attach smaller products to your backpack, roller, or tote bag. We are teaming up with DB here at America's Hometown Horror to exclusively offer our listeners 10% off your next purchase by using the code POD10, that's POD10, or going to the link in our show notes. DB, that's DB Journey. It's time to move on and time to get going, and away we go. What is up, folks? What's going on? Yo, what's up? My name is Mike. Welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. I am, of course, your host on this podcast adventure. But again, I am not alone, as I say every week. I am joined by my esteemed co-hosts.
Oh, so nice.
My esteemed co-hosts. First of all, we have at Otis, the official hound dog of America's Hometown Horror, at the Spooky Hound Dog on Instagram, live in studio with us, chewing on something over in the corner there. But of course, people that will be speaking on the podcast, in addition to Otis barking, would be my co-hosts Kat and Andrew. What's up, guys?
Not much. What's up with you?
Not too much. How we doing?
Loving life, enjoying every moment of the fall season, and the
Nice.
Halloween season.
Yeah, it's going by incredibly quickly. Thank you, Otis. I agree. I agree with everything that you're saying. But yeah, we're officially in mid-October here, and I feel like the month is flying by, which is obviously depressing for me. And we got to take advantage of all these days while we can here, right, Otis? Yeah, there you go. Have yourself a nice chew, my friend. But yeah, so we have another 2021 movie that we're going to talk about tonight, folks. Which I think this might be a bloodbath here tonight. This might not be good. We shall see. But we're gonna have thoughts on that movie. But before we get into that, has anybody watched anything of note over the last week? I know we've had a lot going on.
I don't think I've watched anything.
Oh, well, I guess we should say first that we took a trip over to ye old King Richard's Fair.
Oh, yes, we did.
That's
this
a horror
past
show,
weekend.
but for different reasons.
It's definitely an interesting place to people watch.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
That's
for
like
sure.
half the reason why you go.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 50% of the people there are probably serial killers.
Safe to say that Andrew was not a fan. This was your first time going?
First time and last time.
I liked the turkey ham leg.
Yeah, the turkey ham leg, debatable. It tasted a lot like
Conspiracies.
ham. Conspiracy theory is that it actually is ham instead of turkey legs that you get there. But either way, they're delicious. So
that
I can't really
would be like a
complain too
baby
much.
ham's fucking leg.
It would be a baby pig, a piglet,
yeah.
a piglet's leg, which I mean, like, that's
Because they weren't
fucked up.
very
Oh, it
big.
sounds so
Like you would think a pig's
crazy.
leg is bigger than a turkey's leg.
Yeah,
Yeah. Those are chunky legs, right?
yeah. Anyway, so anyone watch anything cool over the last week? Andrew, you thrown any shitty horror movies that you fell
no.
asleep to over the last couple days? Anything of note? Kat? No?
No,
Nothing?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I would just say that I've been continuing to watch Creepshow Season 3 on
We
Shudder.
watched Halloween.
Yeah, I was going to get to that too. But Creepshow Season 3 on Shudder, I think, continues to be the strongest season of the show so far. I feel like each season that has continued to come out, the budget has been a little bit higher, the effects have been better, the storytelling's been a little bit better. And this season, I've liked more episodes, I think, than any other season so far. So definitely check out Creepshow. If you're a fan of that movie, if you like anthology horror, it's definitely not scary, much more of like a horror comedy, creature feature type thing, so it's right up my fucking alley. Again, that is Creepshow on Shudder, a Shudder exclusive. And, perfect preface to what we're about to talk about tonight. Kat and I did revisit the 2018 Halloween reboot, sequel, requel, whatever you want to call it, the direct sequel to the John Carpenter 1978 classic. What'd you think of it upon second viewing? I think I've only seen it the one time we saw it in theaters.
I like it. I think it's good.
It's definitely good. I kind of feel the same way about that movie that I do about the Candyman movie that we watched earlier this year. It's good. It's not great. There's some good stuff in it, but it's not great. It's definitely not great, but it's definitely good and fucking way better than this movie that we're about to talk about tonight.
Yeah,
and I don't even think
Yeah.
it's close. Andrew, what were your thoughts on the 2018 Halloween movie? I think the three of us saw this together, but this was back in 2018 before we even did the podcast.
No, Seth and Kat saw that together.
Oh.
I did not see it with you guys. I do remember watching it again. I am, by definition, a self-proclaimed, not the biggest Halloween fan, like, of the movies, not Halloween itself.
Right.
So my opinion is kind of skewed. I thought that was a pretty good movie. I didn't have any complaints. I thought that was all right, but I feel like they're all just all right.
But it's
except
different.
for Season of the Witch, Halloween 3. That movie slaps in so many different directions.
Yeah, I know you love that one.
The 2018 isn't like a remake, really, because it has the whole.
No. So I mean, I never said remake. I said kind of like a reboot or a sequel, or the new term that I hate is a requel, which is like a movie that is directly ignoring all of the sequels that followed the original movie and just being a direct sequel to the first movie. So they did this with, obviously with Halloween. They did this with Candyman. Same exact thing. Yep. It was just a sequel to the first movie that takes place and ignores all the follow-up movies. There was talk for a long time that they were going to do this with the Alien franchise and ignore every other Alien movie except for Alien and Aliens. That was supposed to be directed by Neil Blomkamp, who directed District 9 and Chappie and... what's the other movie? Elysium, I think, is the other movie that he did. He's a good director, so I actually would have loved to have seen that movie get made. But, that's probably a story for another day. So, yeah, I liked that movie a lot. And, I mean, obviously, I don't have any news or anything. Probably a perfect time to transition into Halloween Smells. Oh, excuse me, Halloween Kills.
Wow, to quote Andrew, yeah.
Yeah, Halloween Smells. Well, you knew I was going to include that.
Stinks. Wretched.
So, and you know, hey, I am sorry to report this. I wish that I had a higher opinion of this movie, but a little bit less than 24 hours after my initial viewing, I am highly disappointed.
Standing firm on your initial opinion.
Yeah, my opinion really has not changed. I thought I would let it I'd sleep on it, let it marinate throughout today, and it just, when I was... kind of thinking about it more and more and jotting down my notes about what I wanted to say about this movie, it really did not change at all from the way I felt last night. Watching it, which immediately afterwards was just annoyed and just, what's the quote from A Bronx Tale? The saddest thing in life is wasted talent, or you could apply to this movie wasted potential. I do feel like there was a kernel of a good idea in here that was never fully realized, and it could have been, I feel like, so much better than it was. So, I've been talking a lot here over the last minute or so I'll let you guys kind of go around and give your thoughts on the movie. Who would like to go first?
It's up to you, Kat.
Don't spoil quite yet. We'll do that.
I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, while I was watching this, I was also making dinner, but I was also tentatively watching it, and... I hated, like I said to Mike, we had like a couple intermissions, because it is like an hour and 40 minutes.
It's like an hour and 45 minutes. This is a long horror movie.
And I was like, I feel like the first 40 minutes was just backstory. There was like no action. It was just recaps of like past movies, giving like a little bit of a background, and it was kind of boring. Like I was just like, okay, well, I don't know. That was probably the worst part for me, was just getting into it. I was so excited to see it, and then I kind of like started watching it, and I was like, okay, well, when's this gonna pick up? Like, yeah. That was my overall like thought, I guess, about it. I mean, and it was meh. Yeah,
it's kind of a perfect way to describe it. I mean, I don't think the thing that bothered me the most about it was some of it was super annoying, like the exposition of, oh, hey, here's this random character from the original movie that you probably don't remember, but this is them now. Yeah. So, like, there was a lot of that. I mean, Andrew, what did you think of this movie?
I feel like it was a B movie that thought it was good. Like, the good thing about B movies is they know that they're bad and they intend to be bad and it's purposeful. I don't think they meant to do this. I think they thought what they did was good. And that's what makes it even worse. The writing in this movie was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that was...
Evil dies tonight!
Oh my god, if they said that one more time in the movie, I was going to throw something at the TV.
Yeah, it was like a cheesy Frankenstein movie, basically.
Right.
Like,
I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I was talking with Tony from Spooky World, the movie, and he had the same type of thoughts. And actually, it's funny, because I don't think we mentioned this in the show. We were actually supposed to go to the early screening of this movie in Boston with Tony earlier last week, and it just didn't work out that we weren't able to go. Kind of would have been cool to do that. It was basically the movie screening for Boston movie critics, and we were invited to go, and we weren't able to make it,
I
unfortunately.
wonder if there was a lot of groans in that audience.
Granted, given the Rotten Tomatoes score for critics, which again isn't everything,
No.
critics do not like this movie. And the audience likes it way better. I think it's 39% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and the audience score is 72%.
You know why? Because Michael Myers is in it, so they automatically just start gobbling on his knob.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, it's Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
everything
Yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Myers is the best.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
So when we watched this movie and we finished, I immediately thought of another movie that we watched earlier this year and reviewed, and that would be The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And it's for two reasons. One, they both have two of the worst titles for a horror movie that I have ever heard in my life. Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is a terrible title, and Halloween Kills, I think, is a shit fucking title. Can't stand it.
I agree.
And these two movies probably are the two biggest disappointments this year for me. This one being more of a disappointment than The Conjuring, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest, I mentioned this already, but I think the biggest reason for that is there's potential for a good movie in here. I think there's some good ideas, but it just kind of never comes together. I was just not a fan. I felt like if I could describe this word in one movie, it's unnecessary.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. I mean, it feels like a total filler of a movie.
Did you just say if I could describe this one word in one movie?
If I could describe it with one word,
No.
that word would be unnecessary. Nothing of consequence happens until maybe the last 5 minutes, and that depends on, without spoiling it, like how invested you are in a certain character, I guess. It just feels like this is a total cash grab until the third movie. It didn't need to be out there. This feels like this trilogy, and obviously Halloween Ends has not come out yet. Another terrible title, by the way. I'd like to see how Halloween ends, but
Here's a better name for the movie.
yeah.
November 1st.
Yeah, November 1st.
Yeah,
the day
that's
after
a good
Halloween. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
November
The acting is bad. It's really, really bad. And you know what? I am not letting Jamie Lee Curtis off the hook here either. She phoned it in for this movie, in my opinion.
Do you blame her?
Dude, what is going on with you guys in these coasters?
They're sticking.
Jesus Christ. Jamie Lee Curtis included. She was bad in this movie. The writing is bad. And to be honest, the story sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Story totally sucks. And I think probably one of the other biggest problems, there's many, Michael Myers and Laurie Strode are supporting characters in this movie. They are barely in this movie.
Yeah.
Again, without going into too much detail, Laurie Strode is in one location for the entire movie,
Yeah.
right? So with that being said, I think it's still worth seeing. I think that there are some good things about this. Some. And it starts and pretty much ends, or not ends, it starts with The Shape, Michael Myers. When he is in this movie, he does exactly what the title promises. He fucking kills. This has to be, I mean, aside from maybe, it might be on equal par with, but aside from like the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, this has to be the most violent movie of the entire franchise.
Yeah. It was
It's
very graphic compared to the
brutal,
other ones. Yeah.
absolutely brutal, extremely violent, extremely gory. And I thought that, okay, when he's on screen, I mean, there's some creative kills in this. There's a ton of blood, a ton of gore, which I say that as a highlight, but like, it flies so much in the face of the original Halloween movie because people think, oh, it's a slasher movie, it's gory, but it's really not. Halloween is like essentially almost a bloodless film. And the sequels to Halloween got gorier and gorier, and the story got worse and worse, but Halloween, the original one's not that gory. It really isn't.
Well, that's why it got gorier and gorier, because the story sucks so bad that they had to do something to make people watch it.
Another high point, the music, which is, as always, done by John Carpenter, also joined by his son Cody. Fantastic all throughout. I will be adding that to my Spotify horror movie soundtrack playlist that I always listen to, and I kind of talked about this too, but some of the quote-unquote fan service that was in here, I did find that to be fucking useless. Like, I don't need to know that the nurse that was in the car with Dr. Loomis when Michael Myers escaped in the initial movie is back fighting in the mob against Michael Myers in this. Like, I didn't need to know that. The Iron Lady. We'll get to her. That was not the same lady, but oh my God, the Iron Lady. And I have funny stuff coming about that. But, all right, so we're in spoiler territory now from here on out.
Okay.
So I thought specifically the reappearance with new footage of Dr. Loomis in parts of the movie was pretty cool, and it's pretty cool how they achieved that. I'll get more into that.
Okay.
Also, Andrew, the inclusion of the Silver Shamrock Halloween 3 Season of the Witch masks, that was pretty cool.
That was awesome. I'll get into more on that later because I have a way this movie could have been way better.
I completely agree with you. I know we're probably going to talk about the same exact thing, and we actually thought for a minute that it might
You know what? I gave
happen.
them too much credit to think that people actually like that movie.
Would have been a way better ending.
You know what? I mean, you said you would recommend watching this.
Yeah. You would not.
I would recommend, if you want to spend 2 hours, better spent. Take 2 needles, stick them in both your eyes, and then spend 2 hours at the emergency room waiting to get help. Because that would be more enjoyable than this.
So you're saying you'd rather go blind than watch this movie?
Yes.
Okay. I also thought the flashback sequence at the beginning of the movie, that flashback to the original movie in the opening, like that night, the first night that he got out and he was in Haddonfield, I thought that was a cool part, which is essentially the first part of the movie, and it goes downhill from there. So, with that being said, I was looking again at the list of movies we've talked about and or seen for 2021, and I could be overreacting here. It could just be recency bias. It could be my intense disappointment that I have felt over the last day or so. This might be at the bottom of my list.
It didn't really bring anything to the table.
Yeah.
I think it deserves to be talked about with a list.
Is there any horror movie that we've seen this year that you guys have disliked more than this?
I don't think so.
As a refresher, we've seen...
I'm like, let's list them off.
Malignant, VHS 94, Spiral from the Book of Saw, Fear Street, that whole trilogy. No One Gets Out Alive, Andrew and I saw that one. Wrong Turn, Cat, we saw that. Candyman, Quiet Place Part 2, Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, Godzilla vs. Kong, Halloween Kills.
I mean, this may
Mortal Kombat.
This may be my least favorite movie since Midsommar.
Wow. That is a bold statement.
Yeah.
That movie smells.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think, again, my two biggest... This is easily, I think, just based on the name and the history of the franchise and the movies that came prior to this. The latest Conjuring and this movie are my two biggest disappointments.
Doesn't it have more of a history of mediocrity than it does being great?
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the majority of the Halloween sequels. I'm a purist. I love the original movie, and Halloween 2 is not terrible, and Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
But I'm not even going to count that, because if people don't want to count that as a Halloween movie, then I'm not going to count that.
I think pretty much everything after that is...
Why?
Because it has nothing to do with Michael Myers.
But it's still a Halloween movie.
But it doesn't, again, you haven't seen it.
Spooky
It has nothing to do with Michael Myers.
But it's not.
Okay. I'll check it out.
And I think I also kind of appreciated what Rob Zombie was trying to do with the first Halloween remake that he did. The second one I was not a fan of at all. But and and the one that came out in 2018 I liked. I didn't love. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm thinking of the first movie too much when thinking about the overall quality. I don't know. I liked the latest one. It looked like it was a cool concept. They were bringing back a lot of legacy characters. So I thought it was just going to be way better than it was, and it wasn't. I'm sorry to say. But obviously, if you're listening, your opinion may vary. I know we bumped into our good buddy Matt Audette over the weekend, and he had seen it before we saw it, and he said he actually really liked it. So
I know. I want to see his opinion on it. Now that I've seen it, I kind of want to chat with him and see why he liked it. And...
So I'm sure he also loves Midsommar, and none of the three of us like that. So I'm sure he'll probably have something to say about our thoughts on this movie here. And I do kind of wish that he was here. We were trying to get him to come on for this episode. It didn't work out, but I would love to hear a counterpoint to some of our things here. So
I was hoping someone would have liked it, because it's boring when everyone hates it.
I know. Yeah, sounds like you hate it the most, for sure.
Yeah,
I've needles in your eyes, but you know what? As bad as it was watching that movie, I've never been happier for a movie to suck so bad, just because I love when anything Halloween sucks. because it's so mainstream and everybody loves, Halloween. Season of the Witch sucks. Season of the Witch is better than all the fucking Halloween movies. Fuck off. That's why I love that this movie sucks.
See,
so
I disagree with you. It's not better than the original.
Well, okay.
We can have a
second best.
We can have a conversation about any of the other ones.
Second best.
But I don't know. All right, so there's actually, I feel like it's more interesting to talk about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and the facts about this movie than it is to actually talk about how bad the movie is. So I'll give you some interesting stuff before we get into our categories and keep on rolling the way we
believe it or not, picking best death was very difficult.
Yeah, very difficult. I actually don't even have one written down, so I'm going to go off the cuff here. So I have a couple in mind, and one of my guys, Son of Boston, was done dirty by this movie, big time. So you can currently see Halloween Kills in theaters on the big screen, and it's also streaming exclusively on Peacock, which is the NBC streaming service. That's how we viewed this movie last night. I don't know what Universal got for money to put this on Peacock. It seems like a bad business decision though, because we signed up for Peacock for $5, and then you can just watch Halloween Kills for $5.
They were getting paid by Peacock.
Of course they were.
Right.
Yeah. So I understand.
To them,
I don't know.
Peacock, that's kind of stupid for them.
So Universal and Blumhouse, who both co-produced this movie, got a lot of flack for that, for releasing the film in theaters and on Peacock simultaneously. There's actually Jason Blum, who runs Blumhouse. That was his idea, based solely on the performance of a movie that came out last year during the pandemic called Freaky, which I guess is like a twist in the Freaky Friday story with Vince Vaughn and a teenage girl. And
he's
I guess it actually, I never saw it, but it actually did, it got okay reviews. It wasn't horrible, but I guess, I can understand if you're a filmmaker, you put everything into this movie, you want it to be seen on the big screen. You don't want people watching it at home on a TV. You want people to go to the theaters to see it, it's funny because we were talking about this after we watched the movie last night, about how it's so easy to just do that now. We all like it as viewers, but I feel like this is going to be a problem for movie theaters. Not even down the line, it's already becoming a problem.
That's a huge problem, because that's why they do this, because nobody's going to the movie theaters.
Yeah.
So you have to put it on a streaming network if you want to maximize profits.
Right.
Yeah.
Every time we go to a movie, there's 3 people in there.
I know.
And it's me, you, and Mike.
But also, so for us to stream it last night cost total $10.
$5.
$5 for 3.
You subscribe for Peacock for $5, and then you buy it for another $5. Is that what?
No, it's you just sign up for the subscription, $4.99 a month, and you get Halloween Kills included.
And we got the
so it's not even like with Disney
breaks.
Plus, where Disney Plus you pay the subscription fee, and then you pay $20 to rent
Mulan
or Black Widow or whatever.
That.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that when I saw that. So
yeah. So for $5 for all 3 of us to see it versus going to the movies, I mean, it's a totally different experience, but also you're just in the convenience of your own home.
Yeah.
You know what's the better? Would have been a better experience having seen this particular movie in theaters. Would have been that if I did go to the bathroom, you wouldn't have paused it, so I would have just missed the nonsense that occurred anyways, and it would have been 10. I would have saved 10 minutes.
You could have killed some time. You could have taken a break. Yeah.
Well, it's possible that we may be in the minority here. Because, however, even with a 39% score on Rotten Tomatoes, again, 72% audience score.
Rotten Tomatoes means nothing.
Even with the Peacock streaming release, this latest sequel, Halloween Kills, in the year of our Lord 2021, still managed an astounding $50.35 million across over almost 4,000 locations in its opening weekend.
Yeah, because it was too quick for people to realize how bad the movie sucked.
Yeah.
You know how many movies that are probably terrible have this huge box office hits?
Yeah.
Because it's called Halloween
It just
Kills.
goes to show you that there's still interest in this story.
There would
this
always
character.
be interest in this story.
Yeah, of course.
You just can't mail it in and just live off of that.
I agree,
do something
which is
with it.
kind of what they did here.
It's also released in October.
Yeah, of
when
course.
people are looking for scary movies.
Yeah, it's a movie called Halloween Kills, released around Halloween in October. It's going to make money.
No matter how
But,
good
and then
or bad
also,
it is.
according to, this is the latest data that I saw today, over 1.2 million households, not people, households, in the United States have streamed Halloween Kills on Peacock. I think the article came up before we streamed it last night, but yeah. So a lot of people watching this movie, both on streaming and in theaters. Yeah, so a lot of interest in this movie. But like the 2018 sequel to the original film, this was directed by a guy named David Gordon Green. It was co-written by Green and Danny McBride, who is funny as hell. The executive producers for this movie included John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, who were the producers and directors from the original movie, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jason Blum. So a lot of big names involved in this movie, which is just another reason to be disappointed that it didn't
Did they
come out
even
so great.
pay attention to what was going on, or did they just?
Yeah, I think Carpenter is, he's pretty frank in interviews. I think he has admitted at this point he has to essentially sign off on the idea, but he has like no other involvement aside from the music, and he's pretty much just like, yeah, if they're going to give me a check for this, why the fuck not?
But the music's the same as it is in every movie.
It's updated. It was different. It was
Subtle
different.
differences. There were some new scores in there, I think.
It's still it's such
it was very inspired by the other movies.
Well, yeah,
of
that's
course.
the
It's the
music
Halloween
is
theme.
classic.
Right,
That's the
that's
only
what I
thing that's
mean.
good about these movies.
Yeah, I mean, Carpenter's great.
This movie.
Speaking of
These.
star and executive producer Jamie Lee Curtis, did you know this is the only Halloween film featuring Jamie Lee Curtis in which she shares no scenes with Michael Myers?
Wow.
Interesting.
None. Not a one.
I didn't notice that.
Oh, we're in spoiler territory now, so I mentioned this because she's in one location the entire movie because she gets stabbed
hospital, yeah.
at the end of the first one, and she has surgery, and she's in the hospital the entire fucking movie.
Right. Doing nothing.
Doing nothing.
Trying.
They're really, I get what they're trying to do. They're really trying to pass the baton away from Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode to her daughter and her granddaughter.
Except her daughter dies.
Yes, yeah, we're in spoiler
Spoiler.
territory
Well,
now.
you already said spoiler.
Yeah.
This is the third time.
Yeah.
Those are the two. Like, who wants to turn over a movie from Laurie Strode to those two idiots?
Yeah.
Like, neither one of them
Nowhere
has
near, yeah.
any sort of.
See,
like,
I
Laurie
don't.
Strode.
I didn't hate them. I prefer the granddaughter. I think she could be an interesting character. But yeah, I mean, obviously people are coming for the Laurie Strode Michael
Right.
Myers rivalry, and they didn't have it in this movie,
Right.
which again, weakness. Mentioned this already, but the music was by John and Cody Carpenter. Cody Carpenter, John Carpenter's son, and it's excellent. Jamie Lee Curtis, Charles Cyphers, Kyle Richards, Nancy Stevens, and Nick Castle were all in the original Halloween movie from 1978, and all of them returned for this sequel. The characters of Tommy Doyle and Lonnie Elam from the original also returned, but were recast with Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Longstreet. Anthony Michael Hall is from what movie?
The Breakfast Club?
That's correct, yes. I did not know that last night. We were like...
No, I knew that. I just,
Like,
it's fine.
It was funny. It was so funny
Let's
because we were
go
like,
ahead.
Anthony
I'm
Michael Hall.
gonna go with you didn't know that because you had no idea who
I didn't
we
know
were
what his
talking about.
name was, but I knew who he was.
No, you didn't even.
But
know
then we
the
were like, oh,
character.
and the nerdy kid from the Breakfast
and
Club,
I
and
was
she,
like,
she
wait,
was
which
like,
nerdy kid?
I was like, the nerdy kid, not Judd Nelson and not Emilio Estevez and not any of the girls.
And then
It's such
I
a good
said
movie.
he was also in 16 Candles.
16
and you
Candles.
immediately
I
knew who
remember
it was.
him in
Yeah.
16 Candles.
He's also in the Dead Zone, the Stephen King show from USA
He
back
also
in the
used to come to
2000s.
the Cheesecake Factory a lot in Braintree.
Dude, that is so wild. I forgot that you mentioned that last night. I
was like, hey, it's
Anthony
that
Michael
guy.
Hall just hanging out at the Cheesecake
that guy.
Factory.
He's
Let's see.
the perfect. It's that
Oh,
guy.
dude, listen to this. Here's a funny one. So, remember the character of Bob Sims from the first Halloween movie? He was the guy with the big, goofy 70s glasses that he's in bed with the blonde girl with the ponytails, and Michael Myers essentially sticks him to the wall with a
Oh
knife.
yeah.
Okay.
He's got a goofy-looking guy with glasses. So, the producers were not able to secure the likeness of the original actor who played that character, whose name is John Michael Graham. Instead, they used a real high school yearbook photo from an actor that they just realized, like, holy shit, he kind of looks like Bob from the original movie.
Yeah.
Any guesses who this guy might be? It's Bob Odenkirk.
No shit. That's pretty awesome.
Saul Goodman.
You have no idea who Bob Odenkirk is.
See, I don't know actors' names.
I know,
Like you
I
say
know.
Saul Goodman, I'm like, yeah.
It's a skill that I have. I remember stupid things. It's
I don't remember.
Yeah.
anything.
No, I know what you're saying. So yeah, Bob Odenkirk makes a little cameo appearance in this movie, which I thought was pretty funny. Let's see what else we got here. Hold on, I lost my place on the outline. Pardon me.
I didn't even realize that. I must have been too busy falling asleep.
Yeah, I know. You hated this. So one of the biggest surprises of the film, I thought, in a positive way, was, I mentioned, the reappearance of Dr. Loomis. And obviously, these are new scenes involving the character, but they obviously it wasn't him. Donald Pleasance died in the 90s. So how did they pull this off? We immediately said, Andrew, they must be using that de-aging technology shit they used in The Irishman
I thought
and
that
Marvel.
was just like a CG. Like they inserted him. No.
Totally practical effects. Turns out, Loomis surprisingly, wasn't brought back through special effects or video effects trickery. He was played by an actor named Tom Jones Jr., who bears an uncanny resemblance to Donald Pleasance. If you look at a picture of him, he does. There's actually some stuff on Instagram posted by the makeup guy that turned him into Loomis, of like the step-by-step photos, and it's kind of incredible.
That is unusual.
So basically this guy bears kind of an uncanny resemblance to Donald Pleasance, and then he was dubbed over by this guy named Colin Mahan, who had previously voiced the actor doing like an impression of him in the 2018 movie. So that was all practical, wasn't CGI, which I thought was kind of cool.
Is he related to the Tom Jones?
I don't know. I don't think so. Unless it's his son. I mean,
that's probably a pretty common name.
Yeah, I would imagine. Tom Jones. Yeah, I know. Here's another random fact that I thought was interesting. So the 2018 Halloween sequel was released 40 years after the original movie. Halloween Kills was released 40 years after Halloween 2. And Halloween Ends, the next movie in this franchise, is going to be released 40 years after Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. This goes to show you that everything's
setting
cyclical.
Up for what it should be.
I know.
It won't be.
Yep.
Unless they're going to just go wild card in the last one.
Yeah. One of the interesting parts of this movie that was kind of cool were the opening credits, the opening sequence, where there's basically, instead of one jack-o'-lantern that is just being zoomed in on or zoomed out from the entire movie, there are 12 pumpkins featured in the opening title sequence, with the last one indicating Halloween Kills as the 12th installment in the Halloween franchise.
Cool.
Yeah. And Andrew, we mentioned this, but by the way, do those three masks look familiar? The skull, the witch,
could have sworn I've
and the
seen them in
pumpkin
something
that were
before.
on those victims. Yep, they're from
12 more days till
Halloween, 12 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
People are probably,
Yep, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, amigos.
Oh, yes.
In the original 1978 film, while they're inside the Myers house, Sheriff Brackett and Dr. Loomis discover there's a dead dog in the living room that has recently been partially eaten. And it's referred to, it's never actually showed, and in this film, in a flashback scene, Deputy Hawkins and another deputy are standing in the living room, and for the first time you see the half-eaten carcass of that dog, which apparently Michael Myers, just a crazy supernatural-ish type guy that can't die and eats dogs. So, sounds like the worst.
Maybe a robot.
The worst. Andrew, I think one of the cooler, surprising cameos that we both laughed immediately was the inclusion of Michael McDonald, not the singer, the guy from Mad TV.
If you're old like us, you know, do you remember Stuart?
Now
Stuart. Look what I can do.
Yeah, he played the two gay
Little
gentlemen, Big John and Little John.
That is so
those two
random.
guys. They honestly. More on them later.
Yes.
I have some stuff to
You
say
want to talk
about
about
them.
MVPs?
Oh man, I love
MVPs.
them. I love them. So Michael McDonald. I forget if he played Big John or Little John. He was Little John. So
Clearly.
Little John, Michael McDonald,
Yeah.
the only person to have been killed by Michael Myers and Mike Myers. Okay, wait for this. He's obviously killed by Michael Myers in Halloween Kills. Mm-hmm. And in Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, McDonald plays a Dr. Evil henchman that slowly gets flattened by a steamroller.
That's a great scene.
Killed by Michael Myers
He's trying to do the
and
three-point
Mike
turn
Myers.
in the hallway with it.
Bet you there's a
pretty
fact that
impressive.
you're not going to read on Bloody Disgusting. You can get that shit only here on America's Hometown Horror, folks.
I love that guy. That guy's hilarious.
Yeah, they were great. I loved those two characters. All right, so we're on to categories, but before we do so, just a reminder that tonight's episode is brought to you by DB Journey. DB Journey, again, is a Scandinavian brand that makes backpacks and bags to help people on the move stay ready for anything. From the streets to the peaks, DB's gear is travel tested by some of the world's best athletes, adventurers, and creators. And over the past decade, DB has designed and developed, released and refined the best bags in the business. With DB's patented hookup system, you're able to attach smaller products to your backpack, roller, or tote bag. And we here at America's Hometown Horror are teaming up with DB Journey to exclusively offer our listeners 10% off your next purchase by using the code POD10, that's POD10, or just go to the link in our show notes, DB Journey, and it's time to move on and time to get going onto our categories.
That's interesting, because I always thought that I had the best bags in the business.
All right, let's all get this out of the way in unison. Is this movie scary? Nope.
No. Oh,
Andrew?
I thought this was going
I'm
to
not
be
even going to dignify that with a response.
unison is
Yeah.
like once not. like,
Again, example of gory, not scary, 100%. I mean, maybe a jump scare here or there that might get some unseasoned horror fans because let's be honest, there's a lot of probably casual horror fans seeing this movie. Again, Andrew, given the fact that it's Halloween, it's Michael Myers, it's a big name, it's a big franchise, so a lot of people might not be as critical of this movie as we are. But again, I feel like if you're an unseasoned horror fan, some of the violence in this movie is going to fucking knock you on your ass.
It was good. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
What
Good
they
stuff.
lacked for in story, they made up for in gore.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that.
Andrew, despite your intense, flaming hatred for this movie, did you have a favorite scene?
It's kind of the same as my favorite death. So maybe I should get into that later.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'll go with favorite scene, anything involving Little John and Big John.
Yeah,
They
oh God,
pretty
they were great. They were awesome.
I
Catherine?
did like,
What else?
what was it? I can't remember. Oh, the scene where they showed like the dead kid. I like that scene because I was like, you never really like kill kids in movies.
They did cross that line in this
They
movie.
did, yeah. So that was.
Is
I
your-
like the scene with the dead kids. Like,
dead dogs, dead kids.
Yeah.
Is your favorite scene the last scene? Is that the scene that you were going to talk about?
You
Like-
got to go for it. I mean, I'm choosing to wait.
All right,
to
then.
talk about it.
Okay. Well, that was a really good scene.
What'd you have?
No, because that's probably the scene that Andrew just passed on. That's
my
what
best
I'm saying.
death. It's different.
Well, it's also the best scene. I guess the next best scene would be when her daughter dies because.
Oh, that's not mine.
No, I'm just saying that's not my best death, but it's when I guess it's no.
So when Laurie Strode's daughter is killed at the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the
That's a
only
really
the
good
only thing of
scene
consequence
because-
that happens in the entire movie
Right.
is in the last 2 minutes.
Right.
Probably.
Something tells me that me and Mike have the exact same best death.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that
Probably.
Oh.
I mean, maybe. I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I'd willing to put $100 on it, but then you would never know if I was actually lying because I could just be agreeing.
That's correct.
With what you
Yeah.
said. So
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was okay. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I was kind of expecting something to happen at the very end. I was like, but okay. Again, I think, your opinion of that part may vary depending on what your opinion of Laurie Strode's daughter is, which I feel like she's just an okay character.
But I just think that she's been through so much, and she was trying to help her mom so much, and her daughter, and this, that, and whatever. And you're not even considering at the very end that she's like
Gonna die.
kind of a sitting duck.
Yeah.
I think the problem is too, though, is that actress generally plays a very annoying role.
Right.
So I find her annoying to begin
Yeah,
with. So I don't-
Judy Greer is her name.
She was in The Village. She was in Arrested Development, right?
Was she in The Village? Wow.
I think so. And Arrested
She was
Development.
she was the mom of the two kids in Jurassic World.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't she in Arrested Development? Did you guys ever seen that show?
I've never seen
I
Arrested
haven't
Development,
seen it
no.
either. No.
Maybe. I think it's her.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I guess that's something that happens, and I could have seen that coming from a mile away now that I think about it, because, pretty much the entire time that Jamie Lee Curtis is on screen in this movie, it's with her daughter at the hospital,
Right.
with her connecting and trying to. It seems like they're making progress in their relationship. They didn't have the best relationship, and guess what? Now she's dead. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I could have seen that coming. So my favorite scene, I think, was the first scene of the movie, which was the whole flashback sequence. I thought they nailed the look of the original movie. They nailed the differences between Michael Myers in the original and in this movie. I thought they nailed Haddonfield in 1978. I thought they did a really, really good job with that. I thought it was cool that they showed Lonnie, the character that was mentioned in the first movie but never actually shown on screen, I don't think. They kind of expanded on his encounter with Michael Myers that night, with Deputy Hawkins' encounter with
Yeah.
Michael Myers that night in the Myers house,
Right.
which mirrors the end of the movie, pretty almost. So I thought that was my favorite part. So hopefully I didn't. I know that
Nope,
definitely was
we
not your
haven't
favorite
gotten
part.
in-
So,
no, I already
okay.
gave mine. I had to find something
Yeah.
that I slightly didn't hate.
Yeah. The writing is so bad in this movie that I had a tough time thinking of even something to maybe consider for 1/18 of a second for a favorite quote. All I know is that it's definitely not going to be "Evil dies tonight," because if I hear that one more time,
I'm gonna make T-shirts with that on it.
yeah, evil,
That reminds
evil
me
dies
of
tonight.
that reminds me of that All American Reject song. It ends or whatever it is.
It ends tonight. Yeah.
Evil dies and what I mean. Never
Evil
mind.
dies tonight.
That'll be good. I don't know where I was going with that.
All right, so here's something that we can have a little bit of fodder for. I think that this we can talk about without talking about the bad quality of certain parts of the movie. Did you have a favorite and least favorite character, you guys? Anyone chomping at the bit here to go first?
Lonnie's son. Least favorite.
Yeah, he's a weasel, that kid.
I didn't like that guy's face to begin with, and he was annoying.
He had that stupid curly long hair. Like, yeah, he was annoying in the first movie,
But
too.
Anthony Michael Hall was just as fucking
Oh, Anthony Michael Hall was terrible.
He might have been worse.
Yeah, as Tommy Doyle.
Yeah.
That character character bugged the shit out of me the entire time.
I'm gonna elect to go with, instead of having a favorite character and a least favorite character, I'm gonna go with my two worst characters because the movie's so bad. Anthony Michael Hall and
well, I mean, I think it's easy to put, and again, this is kind of foreshadowing probably MVP talk later, but it's hard to not mention among your favorite characters. Maybe not if you're MVP, your favorite character being Big John and Little John.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, did you have a least favorite character?
I think I gotta go with.
You son of a bitch. Go ahead.
Can I have like two favorites instead of? I think I agree.
Do whatever you want.
I did too. I did my two least
so
favorites.
Doyle.
I'm not holding your feet to the fire with these. If you want to, do whatever you want to do.
I'd say Doyle was also one of my least favorite because he just seemed so fake and he kept repeating the same thing.
He was so annoying.
He just sucked.
I feel like it's hard for me to believe in Anthony Michael Hall as this badass.
Dude, I feel like this. He made this movie feel like a USA movie.
I still think he looks like Michael Keaton.
He looks nothing like Michael.
Is that
Keaton.
wait? Is that no? Is that?
I tell you, I don't see it. I don't think you know. Do you not know who Michael Keaton is?
First off, do not compare him with Michael Keaton in any manner.
Have you seen the original Batman with Jack Nicholson?
Michael Keaton
Batman.
No, he definitely looks like him.
Okay, I don't think so. But
You're insane.
Like a little
Everyone
bit.
agrees. Let me see the pictures.
Like a little bit.
Can I see
all right,
this?
look at him. Yeah, all right, whatever.
I can see if you have.
All right, so
I can see if you're blind, thinking that that's the same person because they both have a receding hairline for our balls.
I mean, looks wise,
maybe.
No,
maybe.
Yeah, I
maybe.
think so. I think
Michael
so.
Keaton's way better looking.
I mean,
all right. So you said you had two favorites.
oh, and I like the Lady with the Iron. If you wanted to sink into that, because I thought once Andrew pointed that out,
I
was
didn't
just
point out anything.
So
when you
so
pointed
it
out
was
when we were
so
watching
it was
the
so
movie.
funny because when we when we were watching this movie and I saw that part, I coincidentally shortly before or after saw that Tony from the Spooky World movie invited me to join a Facebook group called Fans of the Lady That Tried to Fight Michael Myers with an iron.
Oh my god!
So and the whole thing, I'll invite you guys to it, but the whole thing is just memes with this lady in it. Like she's just showing up to the mob fight to kill Michael Myers with a fucking iron. That's insane.
Can we just say that in most cases, an iron in
if it was hot
movies doesn't necessarily have to be hot.
It should be hot.
Home Alone.
It's still metal.
Home Alone
still
when he
very
drops
heavy.
the iron off.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been used in other times too. It's in a Seinfeld episode too. The iron.
Oh yeah.
George burns his hands.
Yeah.
So you could do worse than an iron.
Yeah.
You could stab someone in the eye, like an iron, or you could bludgeon their head.
Oh my god!
All right, we don't need.
You could
to
use
keep
the
going.
cord to whip them with it from far away.
She certainly could. I would say that would actually give her, because I feel like if Michael Myers, who's 8 feet tall with a fucking 6-inch knife, gonna have more of a reach than just trying to bash somebody in the face with an iron. But I didn't even consider the trying to wield it by the
You
cord.
do a
I didn't even think of
Indiana
that.
Jones with the iron.
Okay. All right.
You fuck
Fair
someone
enough.
up like that.
I'd have to be pretty.
We should test
confident
this
in
outside. Kat, you
no.
stand over there.
Yeah.
Mike, get me an iron. See what happens.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I'll give you the steamer.
I don't have any alternatives or info about the cast other than anything that I already stated. Oh, except for one thing. I forgot to write this down, but I did remember that. So the character of Tommy Doyle, while we were talking about Anthony Michael Hall, was actually portrayed by Paul Rudd. And I think it was Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers. I forget. I don't know if that was the exact one. But I guess their first choice, obviously, to play Tommy Doyle in this movie was Paul Rudd. But he couldn't do it because of scheduling conflicts.
Anything like Paul Rudd, though.
No, he doesn't. They just obviously they didn't care about the look. They just wanted somebody who played the character in a prior movie to be the same character from a prior movie.
No, I understand.
So
they should have had Michael.
I ask you, would this movie have been better with Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle instead of Anthony Michael Hall? Andrew?
I would actually go with Michael Keaton. Actually, she brought up a good point.
I mean, Keaton would
Michael
be
Keaton
good.
from Spotlight though,
old Michael Keaton.
Old ass Michael
yes,
Keaton.
Yeah.
Doesn't really want to fight. but then he like takes like then it's like a universe crosser, and he's like Batman. And he's just like, "What's up, Michael? Batman versus
So, like,
Michael Myers.
Bruce Wayne, Michael
Who wouldn't
Keaton?
want to watch that?
I'd
watch
right?
that. Yeah, I'd watch that. Okay.
All right,
We're
so
going-
Michael Keaton's not
we're
too
getting
far
off the
fetched,
rails.
right?
Yeah, we're going off the fucking rails here. All right.
Because, I mean-
We've kind of already talked at length about nitpicks. Is there anything else that you didn't like about the movie that you guys wanted to bring up at this point? Because I have one thing I want to talk about. I'll go first.
You
if
go
want.
first.
I thought the whole mob mentality storyline, where the entire town chants "Evil dies tonight," and they're chasing after Michael Myers, and then an innocent man jumps out of a window and kills himself because they were chasing the wrong person. I thought that was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It was stupid. I saw it coming from a mile away because obviously, when they first encounter that, the woman thinks that Michael Myers is in her car. Turns out it's the wrong guy. It's an innocent guy, somebody that just happened to escape with Michael Myers. It shows him run away from the car.
Right.
So, it's who they're chasing the entire time. It's going to lead to nothing. What's going to happen, that they're going to kill that guy.
And then
Michael
Myers never runs.
Of course. And
Right.
then, of course, everything plays out the exact same way that I already knew it was going to play out. It was fucking stupid. And I feel like there was obviously a point they were trying to make about, mob mentality. And you mixed up, you mentioned earlier about, the Frankenstein parallels with the mob of villagers trying to burn down the windmill to kill Frankenstein. Very similar stuff, but it was just so fucking heavy-handed and had nothing to say. And you mentioned earlier that this is a B movie that doesn't realize it's a B movie, and this is if we're trying to say something here. It's no, it's fucking stupid.
Whatever you're trying to say,
Stupid.
Nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up.
Right.
So yeah, that was, I guess, the last nitpick that I had. I guess they're going to answer it in Halloween Ends, but I thought I had read at one point that David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, when they were writing these movies, they wanted to remove all the supernatural elements from these movies, which I kind of didn't like at the time. But how does Michael get
Wouldn't
the shit
he
beaten
already
out of
be
him
dead then?
15 times, and at the end of the movie, 30 people beat the living shit out of him, and then he gets up and murders every single one of them.
Yeah, so
so
that's
what's going
supernatural.
on there?
So how is that not supernatural?
Which
Right.
Unless we're
might
getting
be
into where we think it's going.
Now, was that going to be your?
Is there ever a good time?
Yeah,
There's always a
why
good
don't
time.
you go ahead? Because we both, I feel like there was a point where we both looked at each other and we were like, "Hey, how awesome would it be
How
if
awesome would it be
Didn't happen.
if
didn't happen?"
something it still could happen, because there could be Halloween Ends and then there could be a remake after that of Halloween Ends Again or whatever. But they should have, if they are going this direction. If anyone's ever seen, I know I've gone on and on about Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. It's a very interesting story, and they do bring the masks that are involved, that are created by the Silver Shamrock Company and sold on Halloween. We all know how that goes.
Yep.
They do bring those masks. They are in this universe, so now they're in a
Michael
shared
Myers
universe.
is technically in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. We talked about this.
And so now he is fully in this universe because those masks can only be there if one company made them.
So I guess what you're trying to say is that...
What I'm trying to say is, if you haven't noticed, the Silver Shamrock's employees, or watchers that they have, they all have supernatural strength, and they're all robotic. And some of their deaths in this movie are very similar to the deaths in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Like the guy crushing in his eyeballs and pulling his...
Yep.
It's almost as if Michael Myers is a robot from the Silver Shamrock that was sent for some reason.
Also, Lonnie's kid that gets his head beat in when he's hanging off the stairs and they break his neck. That seemed very similar to something like one of the droids from Silver Shamrock would do. I feel like it would be, for me as a horror fan, if they actually had the balls to pull something like that off, because it would be such a troll job. People, the mainstream audience, would fucking cry. They would hate that so much, and that would make me so thrilled.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me be clear. I would bet you every cent I've ever earned in my entire life that is absolutely not going to be how this trilogy ends. But if they did, I would have so much more respect for them. Oh my God, I would
change my entire opinion
clap.
of this movie.
Yep.
Even though this movie sucked so bad, and it still was bad, but if that's all that movie accomplished was just to sneak little tidbits of Season of the Witch and then somehow guide it down that path, Is that guy still alive, by the way? The main character from season 1?
Tom Atkins, yeah, he
If
is.
you can get Tom Atkins in there.
Mm-hmm. He's alive. He's alive.
Call him up.
Yeah.
Either way, me and Mike are going to write a fan fiction as if that was the actual movie. That would be pretty awesome.
We've talked about it. All right, so that means we're on to favorite kill of the movie, and of which there are many. And actually, while we're on that, this has the highest body count of any Halloween movie ever.
And what is it?
14.
There
are we doing under over?
Yeah, go. Give me your best
count
guess.
all the people that die at the end.
These are the people. So basically, what I'm looking at here. I almost said it. On-screen kills that they show. So not the implied people that are killed off-screen, on-screen kills.
But if you see their dead bodies, does that count as them being killed?
Yes, according to this.
44.
I'm going to go with 27.
28.
Oh, look at me! Yeah. Woo,
if they count the people that died at the end, though.
It might have been, yeah. So basically, the previous record for this in the Halloween franchise was held by Rob Zombie's Halloween remake and Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Both had a joint body count of 20.
2021.
So this has 8 more kills. Some of those kills include Karen Nelson, obviously, who is Laurie Strode's daughter, dies at the very end. Tommy Doyle, who's played by Anthony Michael Hall, he gets killed at the end. Marion Chambers, who was the nurse that was with Michael Myers the night he escaped originally. Lee Brackett, who was the former sheriff in the original movie. Lonnie Elam, Cameron Elam, Vanessa, Marcus, Big John, Little John, Sandra, Roger, Tivoli, don't know who that is, Dennis, and multiple members of the Haddonfield Fire Department and the Evil Dies Tonight mob. So
good.
Some
I'm
people
glad they all died. I didn't like that
28
mob.
people.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, do you have a favorite kill out of all of those? I know you do, Andrew.
Go ahead,
Why don't you
Andrew.
I
start?
held off on it's definitely Cam.
Cam.
Lonnie's son.
Oh, yeah.
with the
When he's like
stairs and
impaling his neck on the staircase and he's like breaking
I
his
thought-
back
I
and
thought
then
he was gonna
walks
knock
down
his
and
head
then
off.
and then he just broke his neck.
Yeah.
That was easy. First off, he was probably my least favorite character, obviously. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've said that. And also, that was a badass death. That was like
Right.
kind of unique, I feel like. And like Mike said before, a little reminiscent of Season of the Witch.
Very much so. Very much so. Catherine, what about you?
The armpit death of Big John.
Oh, God. That's
Getting,
Like,
getting
I felt
stabbed
like,
in the eye.
okay,
Oh,
so like,
my
I felt
God.
like when
Yeah, I
you saw
forgot
that,
about
you
that.
just kind of like looked at it and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I can feel that.
Yeah.
You know, one of
As
your
weird
main
as that
arteries
is.
runs through your armpit, so if you ever were to try and stab someone and kill them, you got the aorta, the femoral, and then right underneath
armpit.
in your armpit, there's some sort of...
Sounds like you've researched
That
this
was-
before.
maybe.
Yeah, that was gross.
That was- I remember seeing
was
that and being like,
gross.
oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
you never see that, I feel like. It was just
Oh,
very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
gruesome.
I have I mean, I guess I'd give an honorable mention, I think, to when he's mowing down the firefighters with the pickaxe at the beginning. That was, I mean,
Brutal.
remember, you know how fucking stupid people are. We were talking about this last night, but you see, there's actually I told you this already, but if you're a listener, you might not have seen this. There was apparently a petition online to have the Michael Myers killing a bunch of firefighters scene removed from the movie just because they're firefighters, which I have respect for anyone that's a firefighter, anyone that's a police officer. But, like, dude, it's a movie. Like, just fucking watch it and shut up. Though, personally, I would say the, holy shit, the, which we mentioned a fellow son of Boston who got done dirty in this movie,
yeah.
and that is my buddy
yeah.
Lenny Clark, who I
poor
love.
bastard.
I love that he didn't even try to ditch the Boston accent at all. He's just like yelling at Michael. Oh, what
I
the fuck
loved
was
it.
that?
I loved
Just
it.
fucking screaming at Michael Myers with a Boston accent. That fucking cracked me up. But it was his wife who got killed with the fluorescent light bulb
Yeah.
through the neck,
Oh,
right?
that was
Oh
brutal.
my God, that was gross.
And then he made her watch
him
just
he pulls every
stab
knife out of the knife block and just
stabs
sticks them
I still
all in
thought
his
that would
back.
have been a nitpick. Would be like, how is she still alive? Like,
You
she
could
should've-
survive for a few
Clinging
minutes
to
after
life?
that. You're
I
still just
mean-
slowly bleeding out.
slowly,
like,
yeah.
It's also Halloween kills.
Yeah.
Right. I know.
Not sure.
Well,
it's
also,
really,
I think too, like if he had pulled that out of her neck, she would have
Yeah,
been
she
dead.
was
But
just
he left it
bleeding
in, so it's
slightly.
just like kind of plugging it up
Right.
maybe a little bit. Like
It would have
I
been
don't
cooler
know.
for like eyes lit up like a jack-o'-lantern, like it somehow had power to it.
Oh, well, he did that to one of the firefighters. Did you see that part when they
that
showed
was the
up?
fire and
Yes, and like it looked like his head was like on fire from the inside.
Was awesome.
It looked like his head was a jack-o'-lantern.
I did, yeah.
Dude, that was some grisly shit though. When the cops roll up at the aftermath of that firefighter massacre, and there's just like body parts everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it looks like a fucking. They look like a fucking.
I was gonna say, did you talk
zombie
about the guy
movie.
who jumped out of the window?
Oh my god, that was
I
disgusting
like,
too. That might have been the grossest part of the movie. So
you said last night
brutal.
that's one of the most grossest things I've ever seen in my entire
Oh my
life.
god. But yeah, so basically,
Absolutely gross.
the aforementioned innocent man that the mob essentially chases to the point where he has to jump off a building to kill himself to get away from them. They show him after he hits the ground, and it is
Gruesome.
disgusting.
I do have one cast.
Oh my god, he's got like
if that guy had been played by Danny DeVito, that movie would have.
Oh my god!
Just Frank Reynolds running around.
Just naked,
Dennis and D'Angelo, your mother's a whore. A dirty whore.
That
would have been awesome.
Guys, as ridiculous as this movie is, that has never really stopped ridiculousness from turning into a good haunted attraction. I actually think this would make for a pretty good one. What do you think?
Yeah.
Don't all jump at once.
Yes and no, because a lot of it takes place in like the hospital, but then
think about how many different houses
it's
though
just
Michael Myers
outside.
travels through.
He's
So I
just
feel like if
mostly
you're doing a Michael
outside.
Myers one, though, it's got to be one of the ones where you can touch the people and scare the shit out of them.
Like sign a waiver type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think you could do a good Halloween haunted house out of this. I think it would work. Guys, let me ask you, last question, or actually second to last question. Not as it deserving of a sequel, because we're getting it. It's already confirmed. It's going to be currently slated for a release next October on October 14th, year of our Lord 2022. And apparently there's going to be a 4-year time jump.
Oh.
So I'll ask you this in closing. What do you hope to see from this sequel to make up for the sins of this movie and end this trilogy on a good note? Andrew.
Let's roll with the Silver Shamrock. You want to do that? You want to play that game?
I might
can
be
get
with
into
you.
that fucking
I might
game.
be with
That's
you
the only
there.
way you can save this. Do something
I think,
ballsy.
go
balls. Go
that.
balls to walls. Fuck everyone else. Like when Star Wars did it with the newer movies, they were basically told everyone, everything you learned before, we don't care. And I kind of liked it because I didn't really care. Like the new Star Wars movies were kind of fucking terrible. But I kind of liked how they just push it in every fanboy's face. Like, nope, sorry.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. And they were all butthurt about it. I would love if they did with Halloween. Because
Honestly, I think I might agree with you. That might be the biggest thing they could do to redeem themselves. But, I would just say, in addition, again, this is the first movie that Laurie Strode is in that she does not share a scene with Michael Myers. Give us more Laurie and Michael and have it end on a satisfying note.
because it's going to be the last one either way.
That. Either one of them has to die, one of them
Something
has to happen.
It can't be this movie all over.
If this is supposed to be the ending movie,
No, but you forgot
final
there's
movie.
Halloween ends again.
Jamie Lee Curtis has already said this is going to be the last time she ever plays Laurie Strode.
She's probably going to be dead before.
I said today.
Yeah.
Actually, how old is Jamie Lee Curtis?
That's a good question. I don't know.
76?
I'll look it up.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
So 78 was the first one. She was probably what? 18 years old?
She was in her
22,
early
say?
20s at the oldest,
she was
probably.
22 and 78, so she's 76. 76 maybe?
Okay.
She's 62.
That's it?
Wow.
That's it.
Wait, I guess my math
76? Yeah, that's...
My math was way
old.
off.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But, I think if they ended that in a satisfying way, let me also ask you guys this. If you had to put money on who dies at the end of Halloween Ends, either Laurie Strode or Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Laurie Strode.
I say Laurie Strode 100%.
I think you want Laurie Strode to die. Maybe they both... I think they should both die, to be honest.
Maybe they both will.
Because Michael Myers has to die if Halloween, quote-unquote, ends. If this is supposed to be the final movie, he has to die.
Michael Myers is going to die protecting one of the rocks from Stonehenge so that they can use its galactic abilities.
Baby. I love it.
I love it. Kill all the stupid
It's going to be a 4-year time jump, and it's going to take place in
If you've seen a certain movie, you'd know what I was talking about.
We're talking about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Well, Outlander has the Stonehenge stones that you travel through time.
Neither of us watch Outlander.
Not traveling, and they're also not traveling through time. They use it.
All right.
No, they travel through time. That's what they do.
Anything else final in closing that you guys want to say about Halloween Kills? Anything in addition to what we've already said?
Kat?
I'm glad we watched it because it's kind of one of those things where you feel like you just have to watch it because it's there. But and I'm gonna have to watch the next one too because that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
But would I watch it again? No. And I didn't really enjoy it that much.
Yeah. I would just say
that's it.
I would say it's definitely worth watching, but it's time that well, if you've listened to this whole podcast already, you've already seen the movie, I'm sure. But if you haven't yet and you've spoiled it for yourself, then lower your expectations before you watch it. It's time to adjust your expectations. I wouldn't say skip it. I mean, if you're a fan of Halloween, you're going to watch this movie. I think, a lot of people that I have talked to about it so far that either have seen or haven't seen it, if the people that haven't seen it have said, yeah, you're going to be disappointed. It's not that good. It's really not that good. And, it looks cool, but they threw the story, the writing, and the acting out the window.
I'd wait till it goes on Netflix.
Well, it's not going to go on Netflix.
Or like
it's going to be on Peacock like it is now.
And that's all you're going to be able to get it on.
No,
until you can buy it from like Amazon or whatever.
But I'm saying wait it out until it's on a subscription that you have because there's really no rush to watch it.
True.
That's what I would say.
All right, folks. Well, I mean, you've heard our thoughts on Halloween.
You didn't hear my final thoughts.
Oh, sorry,
right?
Andrew.
You didn't acknowledge Andrew.
My final thoughts.
Yes.
Someone once told me recently that I was very eloquent. And it was actually Michael.
I did say that.
I forget what we were
It's very
talking.
nice.
I remember. I know exactly what we're talking about, but that's. So my final thoughts on this movie is.
How very eloquent.
Movie smells.
That was a long pause for dramatic effect there, folks. That's how you do it. That's how you end a podcast right there. Thank
I
you.
thought I didn't know what to say, so I just said, "Yeah, mother smells."
Oh, I thought you were doing the silence for intentional purpose.
No, the silence was basically like I have nothing to say because this movie sucks.
Oh, I thought you were.
But I was trying to be eloquent.
I thought you were gonna
and I can't
fart.
be eloquent.
I feel like farting
Oh, I should have shit my pants. That would have been pretty awesome.
Guys, God, you guys are the fucking worst. All right, so I think we've gone as far as we're gonna go with Halloween Kills tonight. So it's time to wrap things up. Excuse me. If you are interested in more of what we have to say, if you've enjoyed this episode, you can first and foremost go to our website, which is ahpod.com. That's AHHPOD.com. You can also go on YouTube and Facebook and search for America's Hometown Horror, and we will pop up right at the top, my friend. We're on Twitter at Hometown Horror, and we're on Instagram at Hometown Horror Pod. Instagram is where we're the most active. And you can also shoot us a line at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find our show. Hey, wherever you're listening to us right now, we'll be there next week. But Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike. I'm your host, and as always, I've been joined by my esteemed co-hosts, Catherine and Andrew. Say goodbye to your listeners, folks.
Adios, muchachos.
12 more days till hell.
Oh my gosh. Just say bye.
Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies.
Get him!
Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, God. Cringe-inducing. Douche chills. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.